For as long as I can remember, Mr. Abernathy, my neighbor to the left, has been a creature of habit, a man of quiet routine and unspoken mysteries. We lived side by side for almost a decade, separated by a row of neatly trimmed hedges, yet he was a complete enigma. Every single day, rain or shine, at precisely 3 p.m., his ritual would begin. He'd emerge from his front door, dressed in a simple tweed jacket and a flat cap, regardless of the season. In his hand, he always carried a small, weathered leather satchel. He never drove. He'd just walk down the street, turn the corner, and disappear. At first, I didn't think much of it. Everyone has their quirks, right? Maybe he was going to a late lunch or meeting a friend, but it was the consistency that started to get to me. The unchanging time, the same outfit, the same satchel. It was like watching a clockwork figure. I'd be in my home office and my own internal clock would tell me, "It's 3. Mr. Abernathy is leaving now." And sure enough, there he'd be. I started inventing stories in my head. Was he a retired spy, exchanging dead drops? Was he visiting a secret family? The possibilities were endless, and frankly far more exciting than my own daily routine of spreadsheets and conference calls. My curiosity grew from a mild hum to a roaring fire. I'd wave as he passed and he'd give a polite, almost shy nod, but never broke his stride. His eyes, though kind, seemed to hold a world of secrets. The satchel became an object of intense fascination for me. It wasn't large, but it looked heavy, worn in a way that suggested it had been on 1,000 journeys. What could he possibly be carrying in it every single day? One afternoon, after another week of watching his unwavering routine, I couldn't take it anymore. The mystery was consuming me. I had to know, so I made a decision. A slightly crazy, definitely nosy decision. The next day at 3 p.m., I was going to follow him. The following day, my heart was pounding. I felt like a detective in an old black and white movie. I put on a baseball cap and sunglasses, hoping to look inconspicuous, though I probably just looked ridiculous. At 2:59 p.m., I was peeking through my blinds like a spy. There he was, right on schedule. He closed his door, adjusted his cap, and started his walk. I gave him a 30-second head start, then slipped out of my house, trying to be as quiet as possible. My palms were sweating. What was I even doing? This was insane. But I couldn't turn back. I kept a safe distance using parked cars and large oak trees as cover. He walked with a steady, unhurried pace, his gaze fixed straight ahead. He walked for about 15 minutes, through familiar suburban streets, until we reached the edge of the Old Town District. This was the part of town with cobbled streets and historic buildings, places I rarely visited. He turned down a narrow alleyway I'd never even noticed before, tucked between a bookstore and an old antique shop. My heart leaped into my throat. This was it, the secret destination. I peeked around the corner and saw him stop in front of a plain, unmarked wooden door. He pulled a large, ornate iron key from his pocket, unlocked the door, and slipped inside, the door clicking shut behind him. I waited for a minute, my mind racing. What was this place, a secret club? A hidden workshop? Gathering all my courage, I tiptoed down the alley and put my ear to the door. I expected to hear hushed voices, or maybe the sound of machinery. Instead, I heard birds, dozens of them, chirping, singing a beautiful melodic chorus. It was the last thing I expected. Confused, I looked around and noticed a small, grimy window set high up in the wall next to the door. It was too high to see through properly, but I was determined. I found an old, wobbly crate nearby and dragged it under the window. Carefully, I climbed on top, balancing myself against the rough brick wall. I wiped a patch of grime off the glass with my sleeve and peered inside. What I saw took my breath away. It wasn't a spy headquarters or a clandestine meeting place. It was an aviary. A secret indoor garden filled with the most beautiful exotic birds I had ever seen. Macaws with rainbow feathers, tiny finches darting through the air, and elegant cockatoos perched on branches. Sunlight streamed in from a glass ceiling I couldn't see from the alley. And in the middle of it all was Mr. Abernathy. He had opened his leather satchel, and inside wasn't secret documents or spy gadgets. It was filled with seeds, nuts, and fresh fruit. He was walking through the aviary and the birds were flocking to him. They landed on his shoulders, his arms, even the top of his head, chirping happily as he gave them treats and spoke to them in a soft, gentle voice. I saw him approach a large, beautiful blue hyacinth macaw that was perched alone on a swing. It looked sad. Its feathers were a bit ruffled. Mr. Abernathy sat with it for a long time, not just feeding it, but talking to it. He was stroking its feathers, telling it stories. It was a scene of such pure, simple kindness. I realized his daily ritual wasn't for him. It was for them. These were rescued birds, many of them probably unable to survive in the wild. This hidden sanctuary was his life's work. The tweed jacket and satchel weren't a disguise. They were his uniform, the uniform of a caretaker, a guardian. I felt a wave of shame for my suspicious thoughts, quickly replaced by a profound sense of awe. I climbed down from the crate, my perspective completely changed. I had been so caught up in creating a dramatic, thrilling narrative that I'd missed the simple, beautiful truth. Mr. Abernathy wasn't a man of mystery. He was a man of profound compassion. He had dedicated his life to caring for these creatures in secret, asking for no recognition, no praise. His daily walk wasn't a strange habit. It was an act of love. I walked home slowly, the sound of the birds still echoing in my mind. The world felt a little brighter, a little kinder. The next day at 3:00 p.m. I was in my garden as he walked by. This time I didn't just wave. I walked over to my hedge. "Mr. Abernathy," I said. He stopped, looking a little surprised. "I just wanted to say," I continued, "that you're a good man." A slow, knowing smile spread across his face. He simply tipped his cap, gave me a genuine warm nod, and continued on his way, his leather satchel swinging gently by his side. And from that day on, whenever I saw him on his daily walk, I didn't see a mystery. I saw a hero. Sometimes the most extraordinary secrets are hidden not in shadows but in plain sight, disguised as the simplest acts of kindness. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this story with me. It's a great reminder that there's often more to people than meets the eye. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more stories. See you in the next video.